Hello YouTube, this is Alexis, the Transgender Duelist, and today I'm going to bring you my Krawler Deck profile. I know it's been a while. I've been kind of busy with life and trying to learn how to make thumbnails and like 15 other different things, but that's not really important for today. So let's just go ahead and go to Crawlers. What do I really say about Crawlers, actually? Yeah, not really a whole lot I can really say about them. They're a bunch of insect-based monsters that revolve around flip effects. They really deter your opponent from destroying them once they start getting going, and not really a whole lot to say there, so let's just go ahead and get going on the deck profile. So first, we're running triple Ash Blossom and triple Ghost Ogre. Running this because this deck is very slow, so it's really easy and susceptible to most hand traps and, well, most things in general. So having these allows me to easily stop my opponent should the need arise, which, I mean, it helps out a lot. So for the first Crawler, we're running triple Crawler Exxon, which is basically a mystical space typhoon whenever it's flip summoned. And all Crawler monsters have the ability that when they're destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 2 Crawlers with different names from your deck and face down defense position, which means that if your opponent decides to, for whatever reason, Solemn Strike the effect, you can go ahead and get the effect to special summon 2 of them out of the deck. So your opponent's basically always going to be forced to let your effect resolve unless they really just can't afford it. Like, for example, if you're going to use this and you have like some link monsters in the graveyard, they might be forced to solemn it, but even then it's not really a good idea. Next is Krawler Deck. To be honest, he's not really that good. If we ever get any more Crawler monsters, I'll probably bump him down to 1 just because he's really situational. Basically, the only thing you run him for is the ability to send a monster from the deck to the graveyard. The good news is it's not locked to Crawler monsters. The bad thing is that not really a whole lot else you can really send with this particular deck. Like, you could run a glow up bulb, so you can send it, so you can make what's it called? A link Karibo. But I don't really think that's really gonna help you out in the long run. You can also run things like Trick Clown or Electromagnetic Turtle or whatever other gimmicky thing you want that activates in the graveyard, but for the most part, that's not really gonna help you out. So I just don't really like it as a whole. But I run it because it's a name. And in worst case scenario, you can use its effect to just send another Crawler to the graveyard so that when you link summon out one of the link monsters, you can go ahead and have 4 names in the graveyard. So if they both get destroyed, you can special summon out a bunch of different Crawlers so you don't really go neg. That's basically the main thing you use it for. I forget. I think I'm like running actually one of every Crawler monster. Yeah, I am. I'm running at least one of every Crawler. Next is Krawler Deck. And he's probably the best one of the deck, or at least the best under most circumstances. Whenever he's flip summoned, you get to go ahead and special summon a Crawler from your hand or graveyard and face up attack or face down defense, which means you can special summon your link monsters, which is pretty important because 2 of them do have pointers that are pointing down to your monsters and pointing side to side. Just all around really good. I basically rebuilt this deck to abuse that effect as much as humanly possible, which is why he's at 3. Running triple Crawler Kinveer. Kinveer is at 3 for 2 particular reasons. One is that he synergizes really well with the field spell, which lets you special summon out a Crawler from your hand. Second, he's another name, and 2, I mean, really, it's just because he synergizes really well with the field spell. This deck revolves heavily on the field spell. The reason why I'm not running triple terraforming is because World Legacy World Armor does basically the same thing, and it's not like I can really do anything with him turn 1, so that's why I'm running him at, that's why I don't really like using him at 3, but same scenario, we don't have any other Crawlers right now, so I run him at 3 because I have to, and because he's better than most of the other ones. Next, running triple Crawler Receptiar, which just is basically a Stratos, adds a Crawler monster from your deck to your hand. Not much else to say. Triple Crawler Spine, target a monster in the field, destroy it. If I do decide to upload a duel between me and Blue Eyes, you'll see that this effect is actually really useful, especially in combination with the field spell, which just makes it so your opponent can't really risk attacking it and they're forced to destroy it by card effects, so they're really just going to have a really bad time. Okay, next we're running World Legacy World Armor. When a monster is flip summoned, you can special summon it from your hand, and then when it's normal or special summoned, you get to add a World Legacy card from your deck to your hand, which includes the field spell and the trap card. And one sec, I think there's like, one sec. I know that there's a few people in my subscriptions that that play OCG, so I'm just gonna go ahead and point this out there right now. See if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. There's World Legacy Survivor. If you felt like you could run this card at like 2 or 3. Actually, if you ran this, you could, in theory, activate Krawler Renvier turn 1, which would actually make it worth running at 3, to be honest. And then there's also World Legacy Communion here, which when your opponent activates a effect, it turns into bounce one of your monsters from your field to the hand, which means you get to trigger your effective special summon 2 from the deck. And I forget, is this thing a... Okay, it's a normal trap card. I was gonna say I wasn't sure if it was a continuous trap or not. So yeah, if you feel like you can run those two, I don't because they're OCG, but I think they're coming out in the next set. I could be wrong on that. Someone tell me if they are. Okay, back to the deck. Yeah, this thing also has a quick effect that when your opponent has a monster that specials on the extra deck, you return both this and the monster you target back to the hand, which means that your opponent's monster goes back to the extra deck, and you have this thing to use again next turn. Doesn't really come up that much, but it is very helpful. I just wish that it was whenever a monster was flipped and not flip summoned because it's really hard to use because of that. Triple Call by the Grave. I'm probably drop this down to 2 if we ever get the other World Legacy cards, since I really got to find a way to fit them all in there. Just really good against hand traps, really good against opponents that need graveyard setup. Like I did this against a Blue Eyes player a while ago where they were trying to banish the field spell, and I used this to stop them from doing that. Really good card. Double Scapegoat, once running free, drop it down to 2 because you don't really need to run free of it. You want to see it, but you don't really want to see it all the time. So 2 of them is just a perfect ratio. One Terraforming because World Legacy World Armor searches out the card I need anyway. You could drop this down to 1 and put Terraforming to 2. You could put this up to 3. Like, it's all personal preference. I personally prefer having Terraforming at 1 just because I don't like having a bunch of copies of the field spell in my hand. I'd rather just have like 1 or 2 copies in play rather than having them all in my hand and not have anything else I can combo it. So the field spell allows me to special summon a Crawler from my hand in face up attack or face down defense. Not really a lot to say there. And then when a flip monster is destroyed by battle, you can send the monster that destroyed it from the field to the graveyard. Non-targeting removal, really good. It's just all around really good. I just wish that it had a little bit more versatility with it, but I mean, what are you going to do? Crawlers are a little bit of an undercompleted archetype right now. So we're running triple Worm Bait. Worm Bait allows you to go ahead and special summon 2 tokens whenever you have an insect on the field. There is a downside where you can't normal summon any level 3 or 4 monsters, but that's not really a problem because you're not really running any level 3s that you're going to summon. Like, you might summon the Ghost Ogre like once in a blue moon, but there's not really anything that it interferes with, as all your monsters that you would normal summon are level 2. You can use it to go into Mrs. Radiant, you can use it to go into X-Crawler, Negaros, or X-Crawler, Sympathis. Sadly not X-Crawler Quarlark, but that's not really too important right now. And then for triple copy of World Legacy Pawns, basically, when you have it, flip a monster that you control face up, so that lets you trigger your monsters, and if your opponent decides to Regeki you can chain this. The monster will flip face up, you get its effect, and then you can special summon 2 crawlers out of your deck. Really good card. It also lets you put a crawler back from your graveyard into the deck in order to flip a monster you control face down. Really good. You have to run free of it just because it lets your crawlers do so much, and it lets you get your effects off really quickly. I often use this on Krawler Gilead over here just because it lets me get my card advantage rolling. The extra deck's nothing really special. Running 1 Sky Cavalry Centaur just because it's helpful. 1 Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. Never summoned it, but it's there just in case. Borload to summon off a Scapegoat. You can actually summon this without Scapegoat just as easily, so if you felt like you could bump this up to 2. 1 Link Spider and 1 Link Karibo to make use of the Scapegoat. triple Mrs. Radiant, double X Krawler Negaros. I know it's not showing on my screen, but they point left to right, so when it's pointed to a monster, you get to go ahead, and those monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. They gain 300 attack and defense. And this one's unique effect is that any battle damage your opponent takes in battle is doubled. And then the standard Krawler effect, where you special summon 2 Krawlers from your graveyard when it's destroyed. Unlike the other, it doesn't have to be by card effect, it can be by battle or card effect. Next one is X-Crawler Qualiarch, which is basically the win condition. Same thing, when it's destroyed, you get 2 crawlers back, and then it has a bunch of different effects based on the number of crawlers you control. So if you control 2, all monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense, including non-crawlers, so keep that in mind. If you have 4, your opponent can't activate cards in the battle phase, which basically means they can't battle fader you, they can't use Utopia to Lightning, they can't use Evenly Matched, they can't do anything basically. And then if you manage to get 6 of them, you can just attack your opponent directly with everything, which basically equals GG, as there's no way your opponent is surviving 6 direct attacks from your crawler monsters, no matter what crawlers you have. And then lastly, we're running the double copy of X-Crawler Sympathist. Monsters it points to can't be destroyed by battle, gain 300 attack and defense, and then they can attack twice on monsters during each battle phase. Honestly, not that good. If we ever get any new crawlers, we're just going to probably drop this down to 1 or even drop it completely depending on which ones we get. But you run it just because it is a crawler link monster. It does float and it does have a fairly situationally useful effect. So, I mean, it's okay. And this has been my crawler deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This has been Alexis, and I'm signing out.